My name's Jara Wilson. I work with USAKansas, and I'm the Assistant Director of Leadership and Learning there. So I teach a lot of our classes for like our Elevate Leadership classes, support principals around the state, do individual coaching or professional development for administrators across the state. Most recently, I've gotten started with this chatbot work, AI work with Allan, and it's been an exciting way to see how the world of AI can impact education in a positive way. And this is just kind of an opportunity for us to kind of take hold and take charge of the AI instead of letting it control our schools and our classrooms. Maybe us can control how that's used some. So I'm excited about that work. It's kind of me and what I do for USAKansas. Allan, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, John, welcome. And obviously, we've got a small group today, but I just wanted to let you know you're in good company. We've over the six or so of these sessions that we've scheduled, and just since this week we put it out there. We've got 17 principals and directors, 14 superintendents, like 48 people in total. So we've got a good group of people. There's a lot of interest in this topic, obviously. So I'm Al Landever, and been an ed tech guy my whole career. Started as a science teacher, integrating technology into classrooms and supporting school districts with technology, and worked as the technology director at Fort Leavenworth School District for a couple of years. The last year, I've been focusing solely on AI, my own consultancy, and just really working to figure out, how we can integrate it in schools. And of course, my research for that stumbled upon the tool we're going to share with you today, and it's everything I could have hoped for, and it's got a great company behind it. So certainly nothing I could have repeated by myself. Introduced it to GA up at USAKansas, and he immediately saw the value, and we're excited to share it with folks. It's super easy to use. It's really a very, very empowering tool. So just excited to have this chance to share this with you.
Well, I'll review our session outcomes for the day, and then we'll be interested also in your hopes, what you are wanting to get out of today as well. So our goals with this work is to help teachers and administrators. We want to equip them to build chatbots that increase their ability to do their job better, whether that is take care of some of the technical work, so that frees them up to do some of the deeper level work, or whether it's come alongside them as a thought partner. We want to dream of different possibilities that chatbots could do to help make education better or deepen the rigor, whatever that could look like depending on the chatbot. Our goal is to empower people to build those chatbots to enhance their work.
So I'm going to compare and contrast the large language model to just our normal behavior of saving a file, right? We save a file, and then we retrieve that file, and then we open the file, and it's what we saved. It's the same stuff. We get back what we put in on a database, save stuff to a database, some tool, whatever, pulls a report from it, and we get back, exactly what we're expecting. So we can save and retrieve that's how we use computers. When we talk about going forward with large language models, well, a great thing is we actually can add content. We can save code, not really save, but we can make the model smarter with our stuff. We can give it stuff, but we don't save it. What we do is we train. So we're training the model, and that process of training is really just a ridiculous math, right? So it's applying algorithms to the data. It's looking at what word comes first and what words are coming after it, and a bunch of other stuff. It uses math, and it processes what we give it, and it adds it to this big data set that is the large language model. So we don't save, we train, and then to get stuff back from the large language model, we have to like cajole it. We have to prompt it. We have to ask it nicely. We have to guide its behavior and instruction so it's giving it to us the right way. We have to give it examples of what we're looking for so it knows, but it can do it. A lot of what we're going to do involves making the model smarter with our stuff and talking to it about our stuff. So the next thing I want to just touch on real quick is this concept. I call it a wrapper, and a concept. It's really like a user interface, maybe. So it kind of goes around this large language model and lets us interact with it, right? So we probably use ChatGPT, go to the web page. That web page is a wrapper around OpenAI's large language model. It's the interface to it. And they've added features, and you can look at the history of stuff. So there's it's more than just a give and get. There's some stuff to it. And then you can look at something like School AI. So essentially, that also is a wrapper around a large language model, right? It's got, more bells and whistles, and you can make more user choices and pick different stuff. But when it actually does its thing and it's ready to give you some, magic result, it's taking all that information that the user did when they were working with the wrapper. In this case, School AI kind of consolidates all of that, those variables, all of that information that the person put in, and it formulates it in a really well crafted prompt to a large language model. And the large language model spits back what it spits back. And no one ever knows what that large language model is going to say exactly, right? But the way you prompt it and the way you instruct it, you can really guide that behavior. So what we're talking about, the thing that we're going to present you is kind of the plain vanilla wrapper, right? So it's the builder for wrappers. We're going to be able to train the model with the data we want. We're going to be able to guide how it interacts with the people, what it asks them for, what it gives them, how it does it, and how it interacts with these large language models. So we can build that whole wrapper. This is, conceptually, there's obviously you gotta, think about things in a particular way, but this is a completely no code tool. So
Yeah.
anybody can use this. And my hope is one of you guys will volunteer and be brave, and we're gonna actually talk you through building a whole chatbot over yourself. So we'll do that in about 10 minutes towards the end of the session. So Jara's going to show some of the chatbots that we've built using this tool to kind of give you a sense of what it's.
Yeah, we want to show you kind of now that front side of it. What can it do? And so when I show you a couple of these tools, be thinking about, okay, that's how they're using it. How could this impact my job or my colleagues' jobs? And so one of my roles at USA, I mentioned at the beginning, is I teach our Elevate Leadership courses to administrators around the state. And so one of the things we wanted to do is when administrators leave the training and they get back to their building and they think, what was that I learned about? We wanted to build a chatbot that's equipped with all the content that we teach. So then when they go back, they can ask questions. And so that's this Just chatbot. And so here it is asking me, what do I want to know? And one of the things that we teach in Elevate Leadership is we teach about the 8 pillars of trust. And so I want to know more about the 8 pillars of trust. So what do I want it to provide? I want it to provide me definitions of each of the 8 pillars of trust. So we've built a knowledge base on the back side. What I really love about this tool is we build the knowledge base. So it's not the knowledge base of the whole world. It's what we want it to know. And so we've put the content that we teach on that back side, and then it can ask it can answer the questions from the content that we teach. So this isn't just any thing that's ever been published on trust. It's what we've taught and the research that we believe in. So here's the 8 pillars of trust. And then it asks me, do I have any additional questions? So I can say, yes, I want to continue about this topic, or nope, that's what I wanted to know, start a new conversation. So if I want to maybe ask about consistency, see if it'll go further into that. And see it's working here with my 3 dots. So this is just telling me, here's what, if I want to be consistent in building trust in my building, here's what I can do. Here's some reflective questions I can ask myself. So just giving me that content back, right? Content that I went to class, I learned, and now I'm asking if I like this answer, we want to give it a thumbs up. If it's an answer that isn't right or something, we want to give it a thumbs down. We're always continuing to train that chatbot to give better answers.
And the thumbs down is really the most important, because we're gonna, it's somewhat of a manual process. We literally can review all of the conversations that someone had with the chatbot, so we can see the questions the people asked, we see the responses the chatbot gave, and we can fine tune those responses as well. Obviously, so when we fine tune the response, that updates the knowledge base, so next time it answers better. So if by sorting, we can sort by all the thumbs down, so we can see all the ones that it screwed up somehow, and we look through it, figure out, oh, it should have said it like this, and then we tell it, say it like this next time. So we're going to share these links with you, so you can play with these chatbots and put them to use. They're really valuable. But when you're doing that, we're going to ask that you provide us with that feedback. In AI development terms, that's called reinforced learning with human feedback, and that's a critical part to the development of a chatbot. We've built it, we've trained it, we've asked it, what we could think of, but putting it to some real world use with real people who are living the dream in the field. That's where we'll be able to push it to a level that we can do another level of training and instructing to really make it rock solid.
So a couple of things I want to point out here. We did build this chatbot where we can see the sources. So someone that's interacting with our chatbot, they can see the source that this information comes from to know that it's a trusted research-based source. It's important to us at USA that everything we teach is based on research. And so here is the sources. I can click on that. It would open this document or website or whatever up. We've built this chatbot where it can email me a summary at the end if I want it. If I want to remember this content, I can email it to me, or I can just end the chat here and start a new one. So I want to show you one more chatbot. As you can see, we have several here, and then we built several more. Before I show you one more, though, I want you to think about, so that was a chatbot built based upon the teacher's content for the learners when they're back at home learning that. So a chatbot, in your setting might be a teacher equip a chatbot with the content they're teaching. Students are, I'm thinking of, I live with high school students and college age students. So they're at home doing their homework at night, have questions. They could easily, chat to that chatbot. Tell me more about this science concept or math concept or whatever. So that, this just chatbot could easily be transferred to a way like that. We also have a district level administrator or curriculum person that one of their jobs is to train their staff on how to give state assessments. And they said, I always train them, do that state required training, but then they always have questions for me. Right when state assessments come up, they have questions. Can we build a chatbot that's equipped with all of that information? So then when teachers have questions, I have 200 teachers, so could they ask the chatbot first? And then if they don't get their answer, then come ask me. So, just equipping teachers with that information. Another chatbot I want to share with you is evaluating a student writing. This is one we've built, and our thought on this one is just being able to keep rigor high in the classroom when we know in the state of education right now, we're putting teachers in our classrooms that maybe haven't been well equipped with the knowledge that we would like them to have to be able to assess, evaluate students at a high level. And so this is a chatbot that can evaluate student writing. Obviously, an English teacher could use this, but we really would like to equip our content area teachers. We know that content area teachers sometimes, or my experience in principaling was content area teachers aren't assigning writing because they don't know how to evaluate it. Well, here we could put a tool in their hand to maybe increase that rigor of students writing across curriculum and empowering teachers to feel confident to actually assign it. So the first thing it asks for is the student's information. So we'll put that in so that way we can match the writing with the student name. And then it says, please paste the student writing sample here. So we'd paste that writing sample here for our purposes. We've equipped it with writing samples. And so here's a 9th grade quick essay. So then it's we've equipped it with the standards, knowledge based on the standards and progression. So it's asking me, what standards do you want to grade this on? This is a 10th grade writing sample. So I want it to assess on ninth grade standards. And so I chose standard 2 and standard 4 here that I want to assess on. That's what we've been working on in class maybe. And so I want to know how are my students doing with this. We've instructed this
It's
chatbot.
going to give you goosebumps.
We've instructed this chatbot to give a teacher feedback report based upon the standards, as well as a student feedback report. And so you're going to see here that it gives me the standards here. So I just typed in the numbers, but it's writing out the standards. And then it's telling me, based upon this writing right here, I think, or my assessment is that the student has partially met standard 2. And here's the rationale of why. The student has partially met standard 4. Here's my rationale as why they've only partially met it. It'll say that it's not met it. It'll tell us that the student's met the standard, that the student has not met, partially met, or met the standard. Or if we type in a standard that is maybe asking about literary writing and this is informational text, it'll say not applicable. We have built a knowledge base on the 6 traits of writing as well. So it's giving feedback on each of those 6 traits. And then it's giving recommendations for improvement here. Here is a quick student feedback that we've asked it to give that I could send to the student. Hey, here's some things you're doing well. Here's some things you could improve on real quick. So I could keep discussing this evaluation. If I'm confused about something or say, hey, tell me more about what do you mean on this? I could continue this evaluation, or we have it where we can email this report. So the teacher can just put in their email address real quick and it'll email that report to me. We did not, you can see in here, we did ask it to tell us how the student's doing on the standard. We did not equip it with like a rubric or a standards-based grading rubric to assign a score. We want the teacher, our goal with this is not to take the teacher out of the equation. Our whole goal with this is to give the teacher back to the students. So our teacher's not spending all their time away from their students grading papers. Rather, maybe they have a quick feedback here where that they can take to the student, sit down with the student, frees up their time to sit down with the student again, get to that deeper level work, get to actually communicating with the student. We know the effect size on immediate feedback is high. So let's give them student that immediate feedback. Let's go sit down with them individually in small groups and let's work through it. So we want the teacher to interact more. The goal of this chatbot isn't to take the teacher out of the equation. It's to put the teacher in at a deeper level and interact more with the student with actual work instead of this technical grading work.
Imagine we take it to the next level. Now it becomes a student-facing bot. Student uploads their own first draft. It immediately gives them back a very appropriate report, encouraging the student, giving them some examples, and now the student can revise and maybe even upload it again and acknowledge, say this is my second draft. All of that information, everything that went into the chatbot from the student, everything the chatbot produced, that's all of that content are essentially variables. And in that email that we're sending, we can send any of those variables, any of that kind of content. We can also do an API integration to Canvas or whatever learning management system you have, so it can upload into a portfolio. We've got a history of Allan's writing samples over the course of the year. Tremendous potential here, and the teacher, like I said, you can look at the back end, which I'll show you in a few minutes. Teacher can see the first sample the kid put up. The teacher can see what the AI gave back as the teacher can see what the kid gave back after that. So that the teacher is able to see the student's thought process through all of this. The student is using the AI that the teacher created. So now this isn't like a don't use AI to cheat on your essay. It's use my AI to help you complete your essay and use it properly. And we're taking control of AI. We're not just a passive consumer here. So it's pretty exciting stuff.
So on this chatbot now, it's moving on to the next student here. We built a chatbot for the front page of websites. We've equipped it with the knowledge of the website where parents can go on and they can ask questions like, who's the high school English teacher? Or what are the graduation requirements? They could ask when does my town play the next town in football and where is it at? That's just kind of a quick tool to empower parents to, get their own information without having to click through the whole website. So possibilities are endless.
The service Chatling, and we've shared a link with you that ends with USAKansas. That's the affiliate link for this group. So we want everybody to use that link when they sign up. You can sign up. There's no credit card required. You can build 2 chatbots for free. I'll just kind of run you through some of give you an overview of it a little bit. So this is obviously a video, but it's showing how the building process works. So it's dragging and dropping blocks onto a work surface. You click on a block and you can configure it. Blocks can be forms, they could be text blocks. So, this is preparing to ask the user to fill out a form. What's their name? What's their email address? So it's not just ask an open-ended question, but this one is going to be, high contact name using the variable from before. How can I help you today? So now they're going to put a receive message block on and an AI response block on, and click on the receive message block and give it a variable. So whatever the user types in is going to go in and be associated with that variable capture test. And then they just program the AI they just passed on the user question to it. So it's and there's a built-in, preview your chatbot, thing right within the builder interface. So it's a very, obviously no code involved, a little bit of, logical thinking in different way. But anybody can drag and drop and click and build a chatbot. So, you're going to do it very soon. Just to touch on the training, and we'll be doing that as well. You can train the chatbot on a variety of sources. So you go to this knowledge base, you click on website, you can put a URL for a website in, and it's going to scrape 1,000 pages internally within that website. All the information on those pages, chatbot's going to be trained. The large language model that you're working with is going to be trained on. If it's bigger than 1,000 links, you can use a sitemap. If bunch of different web pages, I want that one, that one, that one, all of them have good information from, all across the internet. You just copy and paste a list of URLs. It'll go out, it'll read all those web pages, it'll scrape the content off of them, and it will train the model on it. You can click on text and you can just copy and paste text, which is how you're going to do it. Frequently asked questions, just if they say this, here's the response, and you can tweak those. And then documents, could upload Word documents, PDFs, text files, just, 10 or so at a time, 100 meg files. So you get a lot of information. From our standpoint, it's as simple as clicking and dragging, dropping, and uploading, and waiting for the magic to happen. Behind the scenes, there's some good significant number crunching that happens. Multiple languages built into the chatbot and the AI, and lots of capabilities and processes. So this company's, they've got their act together. This is certainly, Chatling is GDPR compliant, and this is the highest standard for safe and effective operations for data centers. It's a European standard from the EU. There is no relatable standard in the United States, so this is like the global standard. Most of or all of their servers and services are running in the US. Had good interactions with them. They know about us. They know about this project. They're excited about the state of Kansas, being excited about their products, and as a result, they're pretty responsive, and that's been great too. So that's the crux of it. That's kind of the overview of how we do it. What I'd really like to do now is we want to ask one of you guys to volunteer, and we're going to talk you through building a chatbot. All right, perfect. So click on Start from Scratch and give it a name. Call it School Schedule. Okay, so this is the dashboard for the chatbot you just built. Obviously, there's nothing going on there yet, but we'll be there in a second. So on the left-hand side, we've got our menu options. So knowledge base is a critical one. So we're going to start with that. We want to train this chatbot. So click on Add New, and then click on Text, because we're just going to copy and paste that text from that school schedule. Okay, it'll work. we screwed up the training data. We left out like third grade and stuff, but that doesn't matter.
I did put it in the chat too, but
Okay.
It'll still work. It'll get
I
our
think
point
it'll
across.
work.
So before you hit submit, let's just kind of look through this. So it's obviously a pretty familiar type of a document. What I want you to notice though is we're saying when people are using the gym, right? We say what time, gym is scheduled for fifth grade or fourth grade or whatever. And even at the very bottom of it, we have scroll to the bottom of the list where so the special schedules, right? It says when the gym's being used, right? But we don't say anywhere in here when the gym is available, right? We're just saying when it's in use. So just wanted to make that point. So hit submit, and when you do that, that's going to start the number crunching process. So there you go. So now click on knowledge base again, all the way to the left. So you notice it says one source, one pending, zero processing, and then it shows us what's pending down there. And number of characters is when we're getting to training the stuff you got to pay attention. Is it really seeing the appropriate amount of characters? Because sometimes it needs a little, pat in the back. Hit refresh to see if we get an update. Okay, cool. Oh, and it looks like your process.
Mine too.
Okay, cool. So now the chatbot's trained, right? It's trained on this information. And if you click on text, click on like where it says link and text, yeah. So you'll see, what you got going on there. So click on the builder. So this is, by chance, are you using a mouse with a thumb wheel?
I am.
Okay,
Well,
so
that's somewhere, but I gotta.
just scroll it up and down so you'll see it kind of zooms in and out. So we've got like a pretty big space here we can use. I don't recommend filling it up with stuff. It's going to get too confusing, but you got room is the point. So on your left-hand side, you've got those four guys. Blocks is the most critical that we're going to work with right now. So we got blocks open. So if your mouse in there, notice we have send message blocks, those text, or it can be an image or a video or audio. So this is what chatbot greets the person with. And then we have capture response blocks, which is when the person gives information to the chatbot. And those capture response things could be a button or text or form, or it could be specifically an email, right? So it's going to not accept something unless it looks like an email. And then within there, scroll down right where you are. So notice there's more. So we have the AI response block, which we'll use, but we also have conditional blocks. The when it says variables, like the if this then that type of stuff. So we can do a lot with that, and we can set variables, so we can create loops and do a lot of things. And we have integration with email right from within. It works really well. It's no setup, and then they keep adding more blocks. So there's what we do is we grab a block and we drag and drop it and we put it onto the surface. So let's do a send message block. So send a text block out and drop it. And then you click on the block right there. And then when you do that, that opens up and you type in, hello, what is your name? It's counterintuitive, but you hit the X in the upper right-hand corner to save it. So now we want to do another block, and this time is a capture response block, correct? Pull the text block out and say, and you can drop it right there, yep, or you could have dropped it onto the surface, but that's fine. That's perfect, actually. So now all we do is we set a variable, right? When somebody types in their thing, we want to give it a variable. We're asking them what their name is. We'll use that for the variable. That's appropriate. So again, hit the X to save it. And then now we want to say something back to the person. We want to say, hello, Allan, what's your question, right? So do that. Yep. Pull that out. Just let it float. Right. Drop it right there. Correct. And now, hello. And now, actually, delete the hello real quick. I want to show you something. So you see where it says the open curly bracket for variable. So say hello and then do an open curly bracket. And you'll see your variable list. And then you pick name and you say, comma, what is your question? Okay, and I hit the X. So now we want to find out what their question is. So go there. Yep, exactly. Pull that that out. Don't nest it. Pull it out because I'll show you why in a second. So click on that, and then we want to create it. Now there's no variable that really is appropriate, so we create our own. So exactly type there, and then you type question. We'll call our variable question. And you have to hit that plus create to actually save it. And you know it's saved when it's there. So then you hit the X. So now we can engage our AI. So let's grab an AI block and nest that underneath what you just did with the capture. It's kind of awkward. You actually have to grab the enter query part. Yeah, right. So now let's program that AI. So click on where it says enter query. And so here's where we would set the AI. And we can use our knowledge base, but just click on that real quick to see. Or we could pick an AI model. So it might be appropriate for this point in the chatbot that it's just gonna, go out and look at whatever, something that is out of our knowledge base. But we want to live in a knowledge base for now. So click on that just to get out of this window. And then for the question, this is where the prompt engineering comes in, right? This is where we do the magic. All these, obviously this wasn't a very complex, chatbot so far, but maybe we could have collected all sorts of information, the student writing sample, all this other stuff. Now we come to the prompt and we can use that stuff. For our purposes right now, we're just going to pass the question over as the prompt. So just do the open curly bracket and then pick the variable question. And so, I mean, we put 20,000 characters in here, but we're just going to leave it like this for now. So hit the X. So now let's link them together, and you do that by clicking on the little ball next to the start button, and you just kind of bring your mouse into the stack of the other thing, and it kind of highlights and you release and it's connected. You got it. So then what I want you to do is that last one, take it out of that little ball and go right back into group 3. So you're going to go out where it's no. Put your mouse over the little ball. Yeah, exactly. So what we're going to do is it's going to say, hello, what is your name? It's going to capture text. It's going to assign that to the variable contact name. Then it's going to say, hello, contact name, what's your question? Then it's going to go in there. It's going to capture the text, assign it to the variable question. It's going to put that to the AI. The AI is going to take that question and spit it back out and be ready for another question and kind of stuck in a loop at that point. So that's the chatbot that we've built. Obviously, we could structure it a lot of different ways. So hit save and then hit preview bot. So what I want you to ask is, I want you to say, the mayor wants to use the gym for meetings during the day. When is it available? Now, we've not done a lot of, you can hit, we've not done a lot of prompting, tweaking. We've done zero instructing. So it's giving us good information. So it just, so the point here is it's interpreting. It's not just regurgitating, right? It's interpreting. So you can imagine we put a lot more training data in here. We obviously can do a lot more with, to finesse that prompt. John, do me a favor, over where the blocks were, click on the third guy down. It looks like a little alien head all the way to the left. Yeah, that guy.
This one.
And click on instructions and then click view examples. So, and you can just kind of scroll in there. So this is another place where we modify, the chatbot's behavior. So we give it instructions that are kind of overarching for the whole thing. And then the prompts, we can also obviously control what it's doing on an individual basis. So that's the that's the magic behind it. So let's look at this real quick. So click on the arrow or click publish on the upper right hand side all the way over. Yeah. And then click on the arrow all the way to the left next to school test. This brings you back to your dashboard. go down to where it says share on the left-hand side towards the middle, and then click create link, and then copy that link, and then that's the link for this chatbot. So you can open that in a new browser. You'll see that the chatbot opens up, in that browser. So obviously, you can integrate that link with a lot of stuff that could just be, in your signature line, or it could be embedded into a web page, or on that dashboard. The thing right next to where it said share link was something like website embedding or something you call that. So you can take that code, it gives you the HTML code, you take that and you shove it into the header on a web page, and now you've got this chatbot floating on top of a website like you would imagine they would. So real simple to build, real simple to deploy, lots of options. Our goal is to train a lot of people. Our vision would be teachers creating chatbots to support a lesson. Do me a favor, ask it, why is the sky blue? So it's only, and we didn't train it on that. So it's only trained on what, the school schedule. So this is the real beauty of the thing, is it doesn't talk about what it's not been trained on. So you can really, put guardrails up on what's going to be happening with this. Talk to us about, where we're seeing this going and next steps, and get your thoughts on that too.
Yeah, thank you. I think that is a super important piece to me. That it doesn't, the chances of it hallucinating are minimized, and it gives good answers. It gives answers based upon the knowledge base we've built, not the knowledge that, or not just all the knowledge in the world. And, like on ChatGPT, it's trained to give an answer. And so it's going to give an answer whether it knows the right answer or not. I like that this will say, I don't know. I think that's empowering for teachers when they're using it. I also love the safety behind it. Allan showed the safety features, as far as, the compliance that this product has. And I think that's really important, especially if we're putting any student information in, that we know that that data is being deleted on the backside, not held and used for something else. Those are two important pieces to me that made me say, I want to pay more attention to this. This could really be something that could pull this as apart from just using ChatGPT or a different tool all the time. So as we move forward, we just have a couple minutes left, but Allan and I are looking at building a cohort of people that would like to try this, get on board with building chatbots. And so we want to teach people we want to empower people to do this. And so we're putting a couple of cohort groups together, one in Eastern Kansas, in Topeka, one in the Dodge City area. And this would be like a 4-week, this group would meet together 4 weeks. The week 1, we'd meet face to face on either September 6th or September 9th. From 10 to 2, have a face-to-face workshop where Allan and I will be there. We'll come alongside you. We'll help you dream up your idea of what chatbot or chatbots you could build. We'll get you started building that knowledge base, building the actual chatbot, training it, instructing it, all of those things. Get you started there. Then on weeks 2 and 3, you go home. You work on it as you have time, but we'll Zoom with you once or twice a week, each of those 2 weeks, to keep you moving forward on that. And then we'll come back week 4, have a half-day face-to-face workshop where our participants will get to meet face-to-face and get to share what they have built and how it's impacted their work in their district. There is graduate credit opportunities for that if people would like to join that. Following our webinars over this week and coming in a couple weeks, we will be